Leg extensions, leg curls. For those that have a commercial gym, you sit in the leg extension machine, you set it up, you extend or curl your legs respectively. All right, pretty simple. The only thing to really keep in mind of that is something a lot of people don't necessarily do. When you set up on the machine, I'll grab this real quick. Yeah. A lot of people, they set up on the leg extension hamstring curl machine, and you have all your adjustments to adjust the machine to your body. You want to make sure the point at which the machine is rotating, because you'll have the lever and it's locked into a pin and that's where it rotates, and then it attaches to a cable usually, and it'll lift a stack or it's plate loaded, whatever. Whatever that point of rotation is, you want to line that up with your knee. So you'll usually have issues and knee pains, weird feelings when you're doing your leg extensions, but the axis of rotation of the machine is here, or it's past your knee, or it's out here, and you don't get a very smooth resistance profile. So just make sure that's always lined up at the same point of your knee. Now, if you don't have access to a leg extension leg curl machine a la commercial gym, we have options for that. The first, honestly the simplest one, hamstring curls are the simplest one. So you can literally just take cables like this, like what I have, really any kind of cable set up. Set them up to face you, they don't even have to be next to each other, because luckily the hamstrings are kind of structured in a way that you can actually still get it. You can still get a great hamstring workout despite letting your legs kind of splay out and then just doing your curls in that plane of motion. That's totally fine. You don't have to have your legs like this. But yeah, the easiest way to do it is just set those up, set two of them up, and then in terms of attaching it to a foot, all I do is I just take one of these straps, I just loop it through like this, and then I attach it to the carabiner. So, and then just both legs at a time, you're here, you can use your hands to kind of hold your knees down, and then you can just work your curls that way. It's super fast, easy to set up. Quad extensions, fair bit. You're kind of limited to dumbbells. If you don't have anything and you're like, I have zero equipment, I would do some kind of sissy squat variation. Usually that's where you just elevate up on your toes like this, and you really just kind of dive bombing into your knees, and you're letting your knees extend all the way. You don't want to relax in these positions really. You're trying to go down, but you're trying to keep your quads pretty activated, and then you're kind of standing up, And you can set up a band, loop it around your torso, lean back with it. You can do it that way. You can use some kind of support like this initially. You're just letting your knees kind of go way out in front of your toes here. And then you're kind of going up that way. As you get stronger with it, you can kind of take away the external support. You kind of go down this way, and then you just go down here, and then stand up, and then over time, you can hold weights out in front of you, what have you. If you don't want to do that, there's dumbbell versions. And so I've shown these before. Personally, for hamstrings and quad stuff, so for a lot of the dumbbell stuff, when I'm doing the hip stuff, I like doing the dumbbell versions just because I like the strap, the little Velcro straps. I think they're just easier to set up, they're simpler. This is a little bit more of a pain and it's bulkier, but for hamstring curls and quad extensions, it does allow you to load a lot more weight. And the problem with all those strap things, when you load them up with 30, 40, 50 pounds on them, a lot of those straps kind of become loose and they just become a pain. So I use this for my quad extension stuff usually, but same thing, fit it onto the foot like so, load your plates on, lock them in, strap it on or whatever. And then for quad extensions, you can either set up a barbell down here, and you can just rest your thighs on it, and then from there you can just do your quad extensions that way. If you don't have that, you can just do one leg at a time. You just wrap your arms around your leg, come up, come down, up, down. And then there's kind of There's other variation you can do. You can do like a drag press with it. So it's kind of where you're coming up here, you're pulling your knee as far up your body as you can. You're trying to keep your shin parallel with the floor, and then you're extending it out this way. Here, this is pretty tough on like the hip flexor if your hip flexors are weak. Sometimes I'll put like posts here and I'll hold on to those. That helps kind of stabilize my whole body if I'm doing these. If your hip flexors are getting really tired, then you want to stay more on this vertical plane. So here, kind of kick up, kick down, up, down. But yeah, if you really want to like work the quad a lot through the full range of motion, then you're going to stay kind of like parallel here and just kick it straight out. And yeah, you can smoke your quads in that exercise. It's like pretty lightweight. By keeping that full parallel shin situation. I actually got like, when I was rehabbing like some knee stuff, a lot of those dumbbell variations were just like great for just like getting my knees and everything kind of back up to where I can start jumping and stuff like that again. Hamstring stuff. For the hamstring exercise, that's a lot simpler. Literally, same thing, hook up whatever the apparatus you're using to your foot, and then you're just gonna stand there and you're just gonna curl up, If you want to, you can get like a post or you can brace your thigh against something, a bar or whatever, and that kind of helps lock it in place a little bit more. If you want, you can kind of like work a little bit of an angle, so you're kind of pushing it out behind your body and curling from there. It gives you a little more resistance, kind of at this extended leg position. But yeah, so if you don't have a commercial gym, those are your general options for if you're trying to hit like quad and hamstring isolation exercises. Personally, I love the dumbbell versions. I think in general, the dumbbell versions, they feel great on my joints. Like my joints always feel amazing afterwards. My muscles are smoked. The downside to it is it's not as convenient as sitting in a chair, especially when you have two machines that are next to each other and you can superset the two of them. It is nice to be able to just sit down and kick your legs around. But like I said, if you don't have that stuff, or if you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of convenience and you have some time, the dumbbell versions are great options. So I highly recommend anyone to try those, especially if you're working out from home and you don't have access to a commercial gym.